All right, so in this first video, we're going to start by just doing a quick card breakdown, looking at the symbols and numbers on the cards. That way, as we get into later on videos, you're going to understand the basics of what I'm talking about when I'm talking about all the different symbols and numbers on the cards, what all of them mean. So first type we've got here is our Infantry Squad. Now I'm going to put the images over here to the left. I'll hold it up on the right so you guys can see it. Now, here at the top, it's going to tell you what type it is. Okay, so obviously Infantry Squad. And there on the left side, it's going to designate the nationality. You see this is American. It'll have like the German cross or Germans and then so on. Up here in the top right, this is the control flag. We're going to get into that later on what that means. And also these icons here, these are called action icons. So when I talk about action icons later on, I'm talking about these symbols here. Now underneath that are any unique characteristics that the unit has. For our Infantry Squad here, they have plentiful ammo. Here in the center is just a picture of the unit itself. Infantry squads, you'll have a couple of people. If it's a half squad, it'll be a single. A lot of times you're going to have me referencing back to Lock and Load Tactical because, like I said, many of the things that you see here kind of relate back to Lock and Load Tactical. Different games, keep that in mind, absolutely different games, but a lot of the stuff is similar. All right, continuing on with it, down here at the bottom right, we have a set of numbers. Top one with the blue circle is their morale rating. The one underneath it with the red circle and the superscripted number is the firepower and the range. All right, so the firepower is in the circle and the range is listed down as the little superscript there to the side. So that's our infantry squads. With them, you can have things like these little mini cards. Now, these are prototypes, so remember that these will be smaller when you get the actual production version of the game. This is a leader card, Sergeant Smith here. Again, you're going to have the name at the top, the nationality. Similar to our infantry squad, you've got the morale and then the modifier for the unit here. And also with leader cards, you're going to have their special abilities listed down here on the bottom when they're activated by exhausting them like this. So we're going to get into all this later on in later videos of what all these symbols mean, but these are the leader's special abilities. So another mini type of card that you can have is something like a support weapon. Very similar to what we were talking about earlier with the name at the top, the nationality, picture of the weapon itself, and then we see the firepower and the superscripted range, just like the infantry squad has, and these can be attached to infantry squads. We'll also go over that here in just a little bit. And then another type that we can have is our weapon teams. Here we see a 50 cal machine gun weapon team. Similar icons on the card, control flag, nationality, their action icons, any special designation for the unit, their unique characteristics located here, and then also firepower, morale, and their range listed down superscripted here. Now quickly before we get into vehicles, because vehicles have a lot, did want to show a quick example of a terrain card, which we see here listed down. This is the woods. The defense modifier is what's listed here in the bottom right, and then up in the upper right, you're going to have the line of sight symbol, and that's either going to be blank, so not there as in clear, or it'll be a half circle like we see here on this wreck, or it'll be completely filled in here like on the woods, signifying that it blocks line of sight. Now, the last type we're going to cover in this little card breakdown is vehicles. So also at the top, we have the name, we have the control flag, the nationality, but then we see a lot of different symbols going on here. Some do look a little familiar. Underneath the name, you'll see whether or not it's tracked or if it has a turret, like this tank does have tracks and a turret, which is what the T symbolizes here. All its action symbols shown here, any unique characteristics that it has. Now, something different for it is its penetration value down here at the bottom. We also see it's got its armor values, And then this has to do if it's penetrating an armored unit. It will use numbers down here. These numbers correlate to the weapons. This right here is the HE firepower. So if you're using the heavy cannon to fire at a soft target, you're going to be using this number rather than these numbers. Then again, we've got the morale, the firepower, and range, but some tanks do have more than one machine gun, which we see designated here, where it has a hull-mounted machine gun that also has its firepower and superscripted range listed down. But you'll notice it's a triangle, and that's going to designate the fact that it is directional compared to the other machine gun. Again, we're going to get into these specifics later on.